Hey, all, my hair is crazy. Welcome to Creatacast with your host, David Welch. Today's episode is kind of a recap of uh, quarantine creativity. Um, and I really didn't dig into it too much because we didn't have the quarantine levels this high when I was talking on David's Life and Observation podcast. Um, the government and government overreach going on right now because of COVID 19 is next level insane. But that hasn't stopped people from being creative. In fact, it has opened up a lot of doors for people to be creative. And the creativity that people would normally apply to books and poetry and literature, they're going to apply towards making money. Because just because the government tells businesses to chill out when it comes to serving us bills doesn't mean it's going to happen. And the degradation of society starts with the lack of time, the lack of free time. And it only appears like the wealthy and the rich have an excess amount of time to still take on creative endeavors and do, fun things and stuff like that, where everybody else is embroiled, engaging in gathering enough resources to survive, and then trying to find ways to pay off bills or pay bills when you literally have nothing coming in because so many people have lost jobs. Families are closing ranks really fast, even though we're supposed to be social distancing. We can't when we're fucking poor. We just can't. Well, let's talk about creativity. Wherever you can, if you do have the time and space and the energy to do so, be creative. And be creative in the sense that you write down a battle plan. Write down, hey, when things are on the up and up, I plan on doubling my effort to, compose poetry or compose literature because I realize now I had more time than I had. Because now we're in a situation where, like, if you can work from home, great. If you're an author and all you do is work from home, even more great. Or if you're like a social media influencer or whatever have you, just know that in the upcoming months, people are not going to have a huge disposable income. They're not. So buying books, buying the extras that are going to get us through this. Now, people are going to consume a huge quantity of entertainment, but it's not going to be, it may not be a lot of books. Now, people may be able to consume a lot of books, but they're also going to be trying to survive. So, like I said, the degradation of society is bringing people that were in a position before to have a little bit extra, to have, a nice book once every couple of weeks, may not have that opportunity. So authors, it is absolutely going to be crucial that we support people. And I'm not saying giveaway, but give them an opportunity to really get to know you. Write as much as you can during this time. Be a chronicler of this time. Those nonfiction folks, get into the nitty gritty, please. Do your research and have the statistics available to document this time period and the real heroes. The real heroes being people nobody ever thought about before. And this is the way people often overlook those who are writers, those who are authors. Right now, who are the people we value the most? Truck drivers, people who work at the grocery store, nurses, doctors. Of course, they receive high praise. Right now, it's if you're a lawyer, you're practically fucking worthless. I mean, I mean, you still might have cases, but so far, our judicial system's kind of put a fucking hold on quite a few things because they just can't handle, quite frankly, can't handle the epidemic and this at the same time. Because those who are judges, those who are in seats of power, are elderly. They're older. They're 55 and older. And they're the ones most in danger from COVID-19. They're the ones under the most threat. So it is advantageous for them to slow in their ever attack on our civil liberties and our rights. Or just, slow down on taking and prosecuting cases because they're quarantining with their piles of gold and their resources that they sent their servants to go get. There are people, though, that are in the streets that are living paycheck to paycheck or living no check to, nothing right now, that are really getting hungry. They're really getting tired. They're really getting into a situation where if they're not desperate now, they will be soon. And then it's going to go from okay to really bad shit crazy. We're going to see things that we haven't seen in a long time. Like as far as how medieval people will get when their livelihood and everything is threatened. And we're going to see that. So we as authors need to do what we can to write something that keeps the status quo up. Even if you're a noir fiction type of writer, have that. Because some people revel in the idea of being in that negativity space, and not even the negativity space, the fact that not all stories have a happy ending, and that is perfectly okay because people feel like that right now, and that may be literature that is kind of cognizant of the times. But keep the battle standard going. Don't waver. Don't let them win. Don't stop writing. Don't stop writing notes. Don't stop doing whatever it is you do as part of your creative process. I've been doing my creative process. I wrote a blog post today. I've done a lot of pictures and video in the last 48 hours. And I've really thought a lot about what I was going to say on this podcast. And the outlook originally for this podcast for the year was really good. The prognosis was like, man, I'm really going to hit the ground running. But I feel myself being pulled at odds because I want to do much more work on my David's life and observation, because I feel that political commentary, not even just political commentary on how things freaking are right now, is absolutely necessary. Like we're being kind of nullified by the Tiger King, Joe Exotic, right now. But what is missing is the fact that millions and millions and millions of Americans are going to be without jobs soon if they aren't already. Like we've already had to close ranks in my family, had to bring in family because they were in a situation where they weren't going to be bringing in money. They're already out of a job, and they had no resources, so they had to move in. And that was only like what, a week of quarantine. Like that's how devastating that was. So not to downplay COVID-19. I'm not saying that it's not lethal, because it is. I'm not saying that it's not crazy, because it is. What I am saying is that prior to COVID-19, there have been other statistics that we have not taken this measure for. Obesity, the lives claimed by cancer and smoking, the lives claimed by a multitude of other things. Even the seasonal flu kills 40,000 a year. So it's not to say that we are not doing our part. And as writers and creatives, we tend to stay indoors anyway. We tend to be very introverted, and keep camping out on our computers and creating and thinking up shit, and those who are writers by trade, we keep doing that. We are journalists of the times. We're documenting what's going on in entertainment, what's left of it. We're documenting what's going on out in the streets. We're documenting what comes out in politics. And we can do this in a creative avenue as well, not just, the literal news, but we can take on creative tasks as well, which help keep people motivated, because people love sometimes a good story in a hard time, which helps uplift them. So, to the John Steinbecks out there, to the Colleen McCulloughs, the Simon Scarrows, the whoever you take a pick, Terry Godkind, Terry Brooks, whoever your favorite author is, get into the books, read. This is the time to read, reflect, study, get yourself better at writing, write short stories, compose poetry. Just keep on the attack and don't waver in that sense. Or at least try not to as best you can. Now, when things start to normalize, when things start to, go back to where things were, if people are given that opportunity to do so, you'll be glad that you stuck to your writing guns at this period of time, because you're putting yourself in a mindset that, hey man, I wrote through one of the worst times in American history, and I came out the other side still creating. So be proud of what you have accomplished now. Be proud of what you're going to accomplish, and stick to your guns. Keep going. Now, you may have more responsibilities in the house. You may have more responsibilities outside the house to go earn money, things like that. But take every opportunity you can to scribble something down, whether it's 3 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever have you, to make it happen. And I implore you to reach out to other creatives and encourage them to keep, especially if it's your favorite author or if it's your good friend that is writing a book, tell them to keep going, because we're only going to make each other better. We're only going to make each other stronger. And especially those who write comedy. Like, this is the greatest time in human history to point out that we've had major flaws, and it's a great time to kind of speak on them without fear, because right now there is a lot of fear out there. So in order to mitigate that fear, it's okay to put a funny face on fear, and do what you do. Make it your battle standard. Make it your stand-up. Do something outside the box, and that's where we're at. Keep going, keep striving, keep making it happen, guys. I love you. Thank you for tuning into Creatacast with your host, David Welch. If you like this video, or if you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what your quarantine story is. Let me know what your quarantine project is. That'd be great for others to know. Throw it in the bottom. Say, hey, I'm working on this story right now, or hey, just published a book. Man, please check it out. And if it's on Kindle, we might be able to buy it.